Jason, lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Victor, would you lead us in prayer tonight, please?
Father God in heaven, we come to you in the mighty name of your Son, Jesus, and we ask for your direction. We thank you for everything that you're doing in the city. We thank you for all the department heads, for the new activities or recreational department. God, we thank you for all these things, Lord. We ask that you will direct us in every decision we make. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. You need a roll call?
Councilor Locke?
Here.
Councilor Lorenz?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola?
Here.
Mayor Becker?
Here.
The quorum is declared.
Do we have any modifications to the agenda?
Yes, sir, we do have one modification. We'd like to add F2 to appointments. We would like to introduce Durbin Taylor as the new recreation director.
I would move to approve the modifications to the agenda, adding F2.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve modification to the agenda to add F2, Durbin Taylor for the rec director. Is there any discussion? Unita?
Councilor Locke?
Aye.
Councilor Lorenz?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola?
Aye.
Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries to modify the agenda, adding F2 to introduction of Durbin Taylor, recreation director.
Okay, approval of consent agenda, minutes of regular meeting from November 17th, 2022, and review and approval of accounts payable.
I move to approve minutes of regular meeting from November 7th, 2022, and review and approve accounts payable.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda for the minutes of regular meeting, November 17th, 2022, and review and approval of accounts payable. Is there any more discussion? Unita?
Councilor Locke?
Aye.
Councilor Lorenz?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola?
Aye.
Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, proclamations, communications, and appointments. Appoint Andrew Ashley to the URA.
Yes. Sorry. Come up for both of them. So Andrew, you may be familiar with him. He has been working for the Division of Housing under the Department of Local Affairs for a number of years. He's a Monte Vista resident, and he would like to be on the URA. Based on the statute and what our attorney said, we are supposed to have a representative from the county commissioner's office. So we did receive notification from the Rio Grande County Commissioners that they would appoint Andrew to serve in their seat. So staff's recommendation is that we put Andrew on the Urban Renewal Authority.
And he represents the county commissioners in what way?
As far as the statute said that we've got to have somebody fill in each of these categories.
Right, and how's he associated with the county commissioners?
He's
So
a
that he-
he's a resident of Alamosa County, or Rio Grande County, and so they can appoint someone to serve in their capacity.
Okay.
Gene, you had something?
It's any taxing district, Martha, that goes to the school and so forth too, I think, all those boards. So that's what the statute says now.
So it doesn't have to be a county commissioner with that title. They can appoint someone to serve in their capacity.
Okay.
So he has a vote just like any other member. There's no hierarchy or anything.
Okay.
All right. Make a motion to appoint Andrew Ashley to the URA.
Second. Been moved and seconded to appoint Andrew Ashley to the URA.
discussion? Anita?
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segula,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve Andrew Atchley to the URA.
Alright. Mr. Taylor, Park Director.
Yes, so the city is excited to introduce Dervin Taylor. Dervin has quite an extensive history with Adams State University as the women's softball coach and has worked in a recreation department, but I will cut that off and let him tell you a little bit about himself. But he started on Monday and we're delighted to have him as part of the city team.
Thank you, Gigi. First of all, I want to thank Gigi for the opportunity. With this position, I'm really looking forward to it. I was born in Mansfield, Louisiana, and I was a good old-fashioned country boy. Lived most of my life in Colorado Springs. Went to Harrison High School. Played football at the University of Northern Colorado, and finished up at was CSU Pueblo now, but at my time it was University of Southern Colorado. Graduated from college and started in a recreation center, community center down in Stratton Meadows, which is basically an economically disadvantaged area, and put programs together, sports programs together, as well as community programs together for that community center as well as for the community. And then got into coaching, coached several high schools, Sierra High School and Rampart High School in Colorado Springs, as well as coached the travel ball team. Sent lots of girls to college, and a few of my girls went to Adams State, and their coach was leaving, so they called me and offered me a position there as the coach. I was there for 15 years, coaching the women's softball team, and looking for a new opportunity, and this opportunity became available, and so here I stand.
Great.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here.
I'm really excited about it, and I'm really looking forward to it. So
I welcome you.
thank you very much.
Look forward to see what you have.
Yeah.
Looking forward to showing you too.
That sounds good.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Dervin.
Well, what was
Very
your
nice
record?
to meet you.
At Adams State.
I have over 300 wins there, and I'm the only softball coach. I'm the winningest softball coach in the history of that program. First 10 years that we were there, we went to the conference tournament, was the bridesmaid 4 times, and I never won it, but we came close a lot of times. Then my wife coached the Park and Rec team, and she won a championship, so I never hear the end of that. Her winning her
So
championship.
you're gonna bring rec softball back, right?
Yes, definitely.
Hey.
Most definitely. And we plan on doing a lot with camps and clinics. So looking forward to it. So,
Awesome.
Good.
thank you.
Thanks.
Alright. Alright, citizen comments, special presentation. We'll go to citizen comments. City Council welcomes your unscheduled comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Council will not take action at the same meeting. Margot.
I love how you sit there reading the agenda like you don't know what it says.
Well, I can make myself small, you don't know I'm here.
We'll find you.
We look for you.
Council, hello, everybody, hi. I just came, it's dark out, right? 6 o'clock and it's pitch black. From my house up to here. And the lights in town so far are totally, they're just, wow. Look at this and look at that. And I can't wait to see the lights on Adams Street. Saturday. I know, but I'm anxious. But it is, like you said before, there are still some businesses who need a little boot. But things are coming along. And I'm really hoping that the info center does something this year, or I will go in and ask why not. And the other thing is, I really wasn't, I'm sorry, but I wasn't really happy with our newspaper. Things should be in there that are not. And I have yet to decide whether I should go in and complain. I don't know if it do any good, but
Do it. Valley Publishing.
yes.
Just help yourself.
Because there should be things in the paper and they're not. And it just sort of bugs me. But anyway, fantastic job. And if you guys go past the Methodist church, they've got that great big tree. It is so cool. So anyway, Christmas is here and it's exciting, and I need to talk to you. Thank you very much.
And it's on
Thank
the
you,
record
Margot.
now that she
No
needs to talk
promises
to
will
you.
remember you.
I'll try.
All right, we'll go on to scheduled appearances. Matt Martinez, House District 62, Voice of Southern Colorado.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members. So I'm Representative-elect Matthew Martinez. I'll save that because most of you guys know me about my background, so I'll save that. I just want to give you an update on kind of what we've been learning so far before the session starts on January 9th, and kind of some of my legislative priorities, and kind of see what you guys would like to be focused on for this next session. So we'll start first with the budget. The budget this year is going to be rather meek going into the state. So last session, the state of Colorado received an unprecedented ARPA funds allocated specifically to the state of Colorado, where they could allot those out, and then they had a pretty hefty budget last year. They passed a lot of multi-year funding bills. So this year's budget, unfortunately, is going to be rather meek because of those multi-year funding bills. So they're estimating about $10 million, which is rather small in the grand scheme of 230 some odd $billion for the state budget to be allocated out. So what you're probably going to see in this session is a lot of policy changes and some cleanup with legislation with that. There's not going to be a whole lot of funding bills because obviously 10 million statewide is not a whole lot to allocate out everywhere. So that's probably what you're going to see with that. This is also probably one of the largest incoming freshman legislator classes in state history as well. So there's going to be a lot of new ideas and new bills. Obviously, I'm included in that as well too. For the Southern Colorado representation, you have Senator Nick Henriksen. This was his first election. Representative Danae Escar, the former majority leader, retired. So you have a new representative for Southern Colorado in Pueblo, Tisha Morrow. Myself, Senator Simpson won't be up for re-election until 2 years from now as well, but that district was also redistricted. You're going to see a lot of new legislators because of that redistricting as well too. So that goes into effect in January. So this district, still pretty much the same with some minor changes. So it's still the San Luis Valley. In Wetpano County, it's the town of Gardner, and now it's the east side of Pueblo. In Bessemer, the district in Pueblo South. So that's what changed. It used to be just the east side of Pueblo and the full county of Wetpano. So some of my legislative priorities, really I want to just make sure, because I've been in one of those seats before, is unfunded mandates. I feel like, coming down on a small town, majority of the district is small municipalities, don't have the funding to be able to maintain those guidance and guidelines that come down. So that's something that I'm going to fight against as well. I just submitted my first bill draft today, or yesterday actually, so to be able to help out Adams State University and other rural institutions. So this will hopefully reduce the state budget and being able to reallocate those funds into higher education and as well as corrections as well too. I want to try to work on an agricultural bill. And my big endeavor that we're still trying to get all the pieces worked out. So right now, the VA clinic is only allowing veterans in or not in crisis situation for mental health visits a year. And if you fall outside of that, they won't see you. So I'm trying to partner up with community health center networks locally, local hospitals, behavioral health centers, to be able to offer those services in that gap time so that they can get seen and being able to get the services that they need. So happy to take any questions, or if you guys want more on my bill that I submitted today, I'm happy to talk about it.
Tell us a little bit about that bill.
Sure. So for those that don't know, my day job is I run the Adams State University Prison College program for the next month, and then my predecessor or my successor will take over. So what we do is we serve incarcerated students all across the nation. As you all know, that higher education has been in a decline in the last couple of years. Typically in a recession, you see an increase in enrollment in higher education. That did not happen. with the COVID pandemic. A lot of colleges and institutions saw a decrease in enrollment, which has led to lesser funds and struggling institutions. So part of the prison college program, July 1st of 2023, the federal government about 2 years ago passed a law that repealed the ban on incarcerated students receiving Pell Grant funding. So they will be able to receive federal Pell Grant funding money starting July 1st of 2023. So with that, I want to do a bill that will grant nonviolent offenders 1 year off their sentence per college degree that they earn while incarcerated. Costs on average about $60,000, $70,000 a year to incarcerate someone in the state of Colorado. That cost savings can be then taken, reducing the state budget and being able to reallocate those funds to the higher education institutions that are going to be educating them, and then putting that back into Colorado Department of Corrections that desperately need that as well too. They're about 1,800 staff members short currently, and they're pulling people from education to janitors to being frontline correctional staff, and being able to get them the funding that they need to properly hire their staff, make them safer, being able to do that. So,
Will there be any funding for, because you're talking higher education, but like trade schools?
glad you mentioned that. So I'm also offering 6 months, same thing, nonviolent offenders only, 6 months off their sentence per every certificate that they earn as well too. So, so for those that don't know, recidivism, when they're less likely to reoffend once they're out, goes down. If an incarcerated student earns their master's degree while incarcerated, their recidivism rate is 0%. So it absolutely shows that you get them connected to education, they don't go back in, they become productive members of society, and they help get their lives back together. So this works twofold. So it gets money to Adams State, Trinidad State Junior College, in the means of the funding saved that we would reduce the state budget from. But then two, it helps increase enrollment for them as well, which is more money in the door, and it's at no upfront cost to the state of Colorado or any of our taxpayers.
Thank you. Anybody else? Questions? Yes, ma'am?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Representative-elect Martinez, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're really glad you're able to make the time to stop in and see us. We know you're gonna have a very busy agenda. You touched on something that is really important to us, and that's unfunded mandates. And right now, a couple of laws that are gonna be going in, one in January, has to do with the bag tax. And you know, I guess if they wanna charge us for bags, that's fine. But what the legislature did last session is they put the collection mechanism on the municipalities ourselves. And if you recall, we don't collect the sales tax. It all goes through the Department of Revenue. And so that's going to be a burden on the city, as well as throughout your district, for these small municipalities to come up with their own way to make sure that the businesses are collecting that, and then us having to collect it, and so on and so forth. So that's one example of something that just, I think, is just kind of really out of whack.
Sorry, I'm gonna write that down so that I can bring that up too.
Okay, or I'll be happy to follow up Monday with an email to you.
Sure.
And then the other unfunded mandate that's gonna have a big impact on our building community, our contractors, and then thus those that are wanting to remodel or build a home or a business, and that is our building codes, electric codes, the plumbing codes, all have to be brought up to at least the 2018 standards by July the 1st. Right now, our permits and building infrastructure, all of that goes through, we partner with Rio Grande County. We're operating under 2006. And so go to 2006 to 2018, it's going to be a big education curve for our contractors, and as well as the homeowners, or whoever's doing any remodeling or new builds are gonna be rather upset and grumpy with us when we say, this is now what your fees are gonna be, and how the standards you're gonna have to follow. So we're concerned about that as well.
Yeah, I can absolutely look into exemptions, and I think that in the current session, as I said before, with fiscal notes on any bill is probably not going to work, but some cleanup on some of these things I think is definitely doable, and there's a lot of other rule legislators that I know have already brought up at least the building code standards that I've been working with and seeing if that's something that we can address. And being able to modify that's going to actually make sense for, you know, rural districts, small municipalities, and making sure that they can afford to be able to maintain those. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or see if you can't consider exempting out communities that are, I don't know, 10,000 and less, or, you know, at least keep it so Monte Vista falls into it. 5,000 and less.
Well, I've been working with the Republican representative-elect Ty Winter over, he's the one that actually brought that to my attention about 2 weeks ago, and he was wondering if we can partner up and look into that. We haven't had a chance to meet, unfortunately, since then, but hopefully I think we're having a meeting and training session next week, so we were going to follow up on that too, but I will keep you posted, and that's something that affects both of our districts. And as I said before, I'm happy to work across the aisle for anybody that's willing to stand up for rural Colorado. So
That's great, yeah, and Excel is playing a big role in it as far as having meetings and such, and trying to help all of the municipalities and the counties figure out what we need to do and how to move forth, but they are very committed on helping us to move forth, so.
absolutely, yeah. Well, I will look into that, and I will follow up with you all, and hopefully we can get some of that cleaned up and make sure that we're protecting these small towns like Monte Vista.
Thank you, and good luck, and get lots of rest.
Yeah. Well, I just drove in from Denver, so I'm a little tired right now, but we're good. So what issues would you guys are thinking that might be important that you're looking at that you think would be critical, I guess, in this next session that we can that I can look into and work with you all on to see what we can do?
Probably have a lot, Matt, for me, but I need to look through them and to make sure. I mean, this is your hometown, so we, not saying that we expect a lot, but we expect a lot.
Well, I'll be honest. One of the things when I was on council here was looking at the aging water infrastructure and knowing that we don't have the funds to being able to replace everything all at once, and knowing that water infrastructure for pipelines, it has an expiration date. I was actually wanting to do that before I saw the budget and or lack thereof of what we're going to have on this session. Was wanting to put something forward for specifically rural communities and small towns to be able to have funding to be able to assist with that project. Like I said, unfortunately, with the $10 million that we're going to have allocated, this session is probably not the best session to bring it up in, but I'm hoping that if we can save enough funding this session, that maybe next session we can have a little bit more robust fund to being able to start allocating stuff specifically for small municipalities to being able to do that, because that is something that's a priority from when I sat in that chair. You know, that's something that I was worried about and that I wanted to try to fix and really help out, and knowing that, you know, we don't have the funds to be able to do that. So that's something that I want to do moving forward.
That's good. Water and sewer, both, because I mean, we're in the middle of that, our sewer fund, our sewer project. So, well, maybe not in the middle, but we're definitely chipping away at that boulder. But that's huge, because we experienced it with the fire. The water is huge here, and we need to be prepared for that. I do not want to go through that again, as well as anybody else, I'm sure, but we need to be prepared, all small communities, but we know what our needs are at that point. So the water tower, the water storage tank, anything we can get.
Absolutely.
You know, lined up in that deal. And then the other thing is, for us, with the new Sky High complex, is working on our emergency center that we've working on funding to get for the generator and getting that all put in place, and we are short on that. But to me, that's should be on somebody's radar, that we have this facility, we want to make it an emergency evacuation point, and we threw the fish hook out there with the bait on it, and we got a little bit of, but we need to finish that up. We need to get that funding to be able to make it, because the whole southern end of the valley.
Absolutely.
So we got 6 counties that we need to look at that potential, that if we had a major disaster, that we could service it. So,
Absolutely.
But-
Do you guys have any other issues that you guys would like, or things that pop up, or things I can help with?
I think there's always issues to discuss. I just don't think that right now is the time to do it all.
Yeah.
But
Well-
let's do lunch.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well,
Well, and Rob Vance and I will be in contact with you as well as Senator Simpson here in a couple weeks. We're just gonna have to sort out how we're gonna write out our letter, but we have found that with CDPHE, that there are some major inconsistencies as far as discharge of wastewater into the Rio Grande versus, for example, the Arkansas River. So, it's more than what we'd wanna get into in a meeting, so we'll set up some time later and visit with you on it.
absolutely. Yeah, happy to do that.
Thank you.
So I guess in closing then, this is my hometown. This is, I was born and raised here. I've sat in those seats before, and I understand how difficult it is in trying to serve the needs of the people, and just know that you all know where I live. You all know my wife. You can come find me. But I'm dedicated to making sure that legislation that is brought up at the Capitol has Southern Colorado in mind, has towns like Monte Vista in mind when they're passing this, and I want to make sure that every bill that they're bringing up, if it's Denver-centric, saying, okay, well, how's that impacting here? How is this making a benefit for the people in this district? And making sure that they understand our way of life, know what we go through, and really know what we're about down here. And I'm open, any issue, there's nothing too big or too small. I want to help, and if we can do that through the state, I'm happy to do that, and I want to work with you all moving forward and making sure that I can do the best that I can doing this. And if I don't understand something, I'm happy to reach out. I'm very humble, so if I don't know, I will reach out and ask you guys for your expertise. So, all right, thank you.
thank you,
Thank
Matt.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Monte Vista Food Bank.
Hi, I'm Jennifer,
Hey,
Executive Director of the Monte Vista Emergency Food Bank. Gosh, I think I'm coming up on my 6th year. I don't know, it flies by. I sat on the board prior to becoming director for about 7 years, so I've been doing this for a while. Was asked to come to present to you guys. Jean just heard my little spiel because I was at the Rotary a couple weeks ago, but I just want to give you guys a really quick background. You've probably heard this before, but you're going to listen to it again. So July 11th, 1984 is when the dream started to have a food bank that served Rio Grande County. So St. Stephen's Episcopal Church, which is where we're still at, donated the original building for $1 a year lease. That's what they still charge us. 8 churches helped sponsor the food bank with food and monetary donations. Pat Smedley and Ellen Simpson, I don't know how many of you know them, but I've heard great things about both of them. Co-directors, and Don Shaw was the treasurer. Alice Getz was one of the key coordinators of monetary donations. And Mary Milne worked several years through cancer remission. Kind of interesting. Mary Milne's daughter-in-law actually is one of my volunteers, which I think is pretty cool. New building and a new dream. So the original building that we worked out of was only 384 square feet, which just blows me away, because now we have a little over 1,700 square feet, and I still don't have enough room sometimes. So, but we increased our area quite a bit when they rebuilt the building. Monte Vista Rotary Club donated the original $1,000 in 1998 as seed money to construct the new building. The Episcopal Church was then awarded a grant in the amount of $19,500. Rotary and Kiwanis then helped raise the remaining money, which totaled $65,000, which is pretty miraculous, really, if you think about it. If you built a 1,700 square foot facility now, I can't even imagine how much it would cost you. So the dream of a new building became a reality. Contractors, service clubs, churches, and members of the community made it possible, and the new building officially opened in March 2000. So we've been there for a while. We serve
Rio Grande County. We will make exceptions occasionally. We try not to though, just based on the fact that Alamosa Food Bank serves anybody from the entire valley, and they have a much larger budget than we do because they fall under La Puente. So I was just going to give you a few numbers. I found this kind of interesting. I was looking through a bunch of old paperwork, and in 1985, which was the first year that they officially served people, they served 1,176 people, and we still serve right around that same amount. And I think that's because we're a small community and our population doesn't have that many, changes in it. As of October, we had served 548 households and 1,194 people. I don't know what it is as of now because I didn't pull a report, but we're a community of 4,000, a little over 4,000 people, and we serve 1,100 of those. I think it definitely shows that we've reached a lot of people. Food insecurity is huge. And in any community, I think it hits rural communities even more. We have a limited number of jobs. The jobs that are available don't pay a lot. You have a lot of not only broken families, but I know one pattern that we've seen more and more over the last 2 or 3 years is we're seeing more and more grandparents raising grandchildren kind of situations. And so that creates even more of a problem for them because by the time you have grandchildren, most of the time you're on a very limited budget. So we are completely independent. We, as of right now, do not receive any kind of grants. We do use La Puente's tax ID number. We are in the process of changing that. We're trying to get some counseling on that and get us through it, but we're trying to become our own 501c3. But we have always just supported ourselves. We have churches and clubs and, of course, individuals, farmers, cities. We get so much support from this community. It almost kind of boggles my mind, especially this time of the year. This is when the big donations come in. And we could not do it without this community. We absolutely could not. I was having a hard time finding, because I am not a board member, so I don't have access to our QuickBooks, and I couldn't find a recent report because our treasurer wasn't at our last meeting. But we typically spend just on food alone in the food bank anywhere between $15,000 to $25,000 a year. Just this year alone, I spent over $8,000 on our Thanksgiving food. So we run through some pretty big expenses. That's just our food side. Our operating costs are not too terrible. We have our electricity and our phone and internet, because everybody there, myself included, are volunteers. So we don't have any wages or anything like that to pay. We do split the bill with St. Stephen's Episcopal Church. I think we pay like 60% of the bill and they pay the rest of it. So our operating costs aren't too terrible. I try to keep those down as low as I can, but the food obviously is our biggest expense. And I predict that that's only going to get worse. Inflation, unfortunately, hits food banks as well. So I've really been trying hard to push food donations this year. I typically like when we get money, but it's been kind of nice to get the extra food donations as well, because that just cuts back on what I have to buy. I did bring, in case anyone's interested, a list of the stuff that we give out on a regular basis versus just holidays, because holidays is obviously a little different menu. But there's a lot. We give them a lot. We try to give them enough food that it will cover them for at least a week. You get the amount of food based on your family size. So we give them all of your staples, your fruits, your veggies, pasta, those kind of things. They also get meat and potatoes, although potatoes are not getting because our walk-in is not working right now. But we try to give them everything we can cover for them for a week. We do limit our visits. We are set up to, we allow them to come 6 times a year plus your 2 holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, once a month. They do have to sign a contract saying they understand that. We do make it very clear to our patrons that we are not to be your main food source. We are strictly an emergency food bank. We will make exceptions again. I'm not heartless, and I have a really hard time saying no to people. So, but we really do try to keep to that, because we don't want people we can't afford to be a grocery store. We can't afford for people to come in whenever they want to, or our shelves would be bare. Especially when we spend $25,000 a year in food. So Holidays are always busy for us. This time of the year is insane for me. Thanksgiving last year, we served 107 households and 390 people last Thanksgiving. This year we served 171 households and 572 people. It's about a 30% increase. So it definitely shows when the economy is going like this and the price of everything is going like this, it definitely shows in our numbers for sure. Christmas we'll see about half that. I don't know why. That's just the way it's been forever and ever and ever. We'll see about half that number. But that also means that coming Christmas, I'm going to have to rebag groceries, and we're probably going to spend at least another $4,000 on our Christmas groceries. So, can't think of really anything else. Sorry, I have my brain going like this way for Christmas parade and this way for food bank. One thing I did want to mention, because I know this is recorded and sent off across the YouTube sphere, we are looking for board members. We have lost a couple in the last year, and just recently we have lost our treasurer, which is kind of a scary thought because we can't really function without an operating board, and we definitely can't function without a treasurer. That's a pretty important position. We do only meet 4 times a year. Counselor Locke is actually one of our board members, which is awesome. So if anyone has any interest in being a board member, I'm available. I've got a listed phone number in the phone book because we're old school. So anyone can get a hold of me if you're interested in being on our board. It's not a huge commitment. Martha can tell you that. It's honestly, most of the meetings kind of go, we go through our agenda and then they turn to me and say, what do you need, Jennifer? And then they vote and say yes. It's really not a huge obligation to be a board member, but it's important because that's how we function. And if we're going to move on to get our own 501c3, we have to have an operating board. So we definitely need someone, a couple 2 or 3 bodies on the board would be nice. I really need someone that's willing to step up and be the treasurer. I could do it, but I can't because I'm not a board member. So I've been making the deposits just because we really have no other choice right now. But so if anyone's interested in that, let me know. Other than that, does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
What's it going to take to get the walk-in working?
Tim Davidson is supposed to come look at it first of the year.
Okay.
Tim Davidson has a second gig. He's actually Santa Claus. And so this time of the year is a little busy, but he works for Marty's Maintenance in Alamosa, and he's not going to charge us anything to do it. My brother-in-law used to work on commercial freezers and walk-ins and those kind of things, and he's pretty sure it's a control panel problem. It's kind of frustrating. The REC gave us the money to install that in 2017, I believe. So it's a fairly new walk-in. I mean, it's a really, really nice walk-in. It takes up a whole corner of my 1,700 square foot building. But it's been freezing, so. And frozen potatoes are pretty disgusting. I've lost probably about 30 Bell's potatoes in the last 6 months, so we finally just shut it off. I just gave up. I can't keep putting potatoes in there just to have them freeze, because it never fails. It takes me 2 or 3 days to realize that they froze, and then the minute you shut it off and those potatoes thaw out, yeah, anyone that smelled a frozen potato, it's nothing. So we're hoping Tim Davidson is supposed to come look at it for
there
me.
won't be any cost to that?
I hope not, no. From what it sounds like, he's going to work on it outside of Marty's Maintenance and do it on his own. And
Okay, no parts, no.
well, that I don't know. I mean, we
Okay.
may have some expensive parts,
Okay.
honestly, but he's not going to charge us for the labor. So, because
I
I
see.
told him that we would, and he said you don't have to worry about that. So.
I appreciate him
So I'm
donating
hoping
that.
it's not a huge fix, but honestly, we haven't had a lot of people too upset that they don't get potatoes because potatoes are pretty plentiful here. So, especially during harvest time, we usually end up with potatoes that go bad before we get rid of them because everybody says, "Oh, I already have potatoes." So, we're still getting them the basics. You know, they're still getting plenty of carbs. We're giving them pasta and those kind of things, and they're still getting the meat. From what I understand, we're one of the only food banks in the valley that actually gives out meat, which is nice. So not just I'm not cooking just canned chicken. We actually give them hamburger. So, so I'm hoping to get the walk-in fixed the first of the year before tax season starts for me. So, any other questions? You know, any support we can get from the city, we're all about too. So, well, thank you very much. And I will just leave I'll just leave a couple of these with you, and then you can make copies or. Oops. all my staff.
Thank you for your presentation.
Welcome, now I get to
Appreciate
go
that.
home and work on Christmas break, cause I just got 4 more entries while I'm sitting here. Yeah, crazy.
How many entries do you have so far?
I have no idea, I haven't even counted. I'm probably gonna be scared when I get home and count, so. But I'm excited, Saturday, Saturday, come join us, 5:15, tree lighting, Flow Minder Park, and parade at 6 PM on Adams Street. So, all right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
We'll see
Jennifer.
you at home. Huh?
She was looking at you, Victor. No. She's picking you out, bud.
She's looking over here.
She said,
I'm
"Oh,
a
the
volunteer."
chairs are blank."
I think it's funny that the three of you assumed she was talking to either one of y'all.
I get talked to like that all the
Could
time.
have been talking to me.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
so we've got Morgan Van Nack, signed up to give a short presentation on the Jumpstart program, which is then the next item on the agenda in, regarding resolution 2022 number 11. And Morgan is with the Office of Economic Development and International Trade, and so she's in Denver tonight, willing to meet with us and explain this program for you.
Very good. Well, welcome.
Thank you. It's very weird. I can just see the sides of all your heads in a row. Well, thank you. And I'm going to share my screen. Oh, can I get access to share my screen? There's everyone.
Is that better? Can you see us now?
Yeah, if I could just get access to share my screen and then I can show a presentation, if that's okay.
Are you working on that?
Yeah.
Yep.
You should have that.
Yes, that is great. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Looks like there's a YouTuber recording us.
There we go.
Shaky
Now I have
camera.
access. Great. Well, I'm so sorry that I am not there today. I love getting out and getting to meet with you all in person, and so I'm bummed that I can't be there. But thank you all for letting me present virtually. So today, as Gigi said, I will be talking about the Rural Jumpstart program. Looks like, is the presentation okay on your end?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Morgan Bancat. I work for the for OEDIT, as Gigi said, and I'm the program manager for the Rural Jumpstart program. And I always like to preface this with everybody in the room that I can get on a little bit of a soapbox. I'm very passionate about rural America in general because I grew up as a product of rural Nebraska, and so I always like to show this picture to show proof that long ago I was in rural Nebraska, and I really want to do everything I can to help you guys out, and so that's why I'm so passionate about this program. So the Rural Jumpstart program, it started in 2016 as a tax relief program, and then in 2021, the deal was really sweetened and we added a grant program. It's meant to benefit businesses that start or relocate into rural economically distressed parts of Colorado that are called Rural Jumpstart Zones. So today I'll first go through the benefits of the program. I'll talk about some of the rules for the businesses that are allowed to join, and then I'll talk about my ask of you all, which is to join the Rio Grande County zone for Rural Jumpstart.
Morgan, there is a screen on your presentation that talks about subtitles.
Oh no, okay. Let's move this. You guys are seeing the back side of it, just 1 second.
Yep, that took it away.
There you go.
Did that work? Can you guys see the screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, it looks like there is subtitles, which is kind of cool. All right, so first let's talk about the benefits. So as I mentioned in the slide before, there are 2 sets of benefits of a business joining Rural Jumpstart. There's tax benefits and there are grant benefits. So first we'll talk about the tax benefits. When a business joins the program, they are eligible for relief through a reimbursement when they file their taxes for their state income tax, their state sales and use tax, and their county and municipal business personal property tax. In addition, qualified employees, which we'll talk about what that means on the next slide, will receive relief from their personal state income tax. So not only is this benefiting the business, but it's also benefiting certain employees that qualify for the program as well. So next is the grant benefits, which I think is what really makes this program special. There really isn't a lot of operating capital for businesses that are looking to start in Colorado, so that's one of the main benefits of this program. Businesses are eligible for two different types of grants. The first is a $20,000 general operating matching grant. And what that means is that the state will match business expenses that we approve. I've only said no to 3 expenses that a business has submitted. And it was a networking dinner that just had a lot of alcohol, late fees when somebody didn't pay their bills on time, and then my accounting team did let me know that we could not reimburse for taxes paid into the state. But other than that, we will reimburse at 25% any other expenses that the business has up to that $20,000. The second grant that's available for businesses is a $2,500 grant per new hire. Now on the last slide we talked about, we said qualified employees receive relief from their state income tax. That qualification to receive the taxes is the same as the qualification to receive the grant money. The only difference is that the tax benefit is for the employee and the grant is for the business. In order to qualify for this grant, the employee must be making at or above the county's average annual wage, which we have listed there at that just over $40,000. The employee must be full-time, working 80% or more of their time in the zone. And then the business and the employees can't receive that benefit until the employee has been with the company for at least 6 months. Right now, the grant program is set to expire June 30th, 2024. We start talking about the legislative session for that year in the spring, and so we'll let you know if there's any updates on if the program gets extended or not. So next is the requirements. Not as fun, but very important. I will preface before I get into the requirements that this program is not meant to assist every business in your community, unfortunately. The statute was passed in a way that we're working with a very specific kind of business, and you'll see why when I talk about the rules. So first of all, the business cannot be operating in Colorado at the time of application. Just basically meaning that they can be doing research and development, they can be doing prototyping, they can be at the very beginning stages of their business, they just can't be actively operating and selling their product or service. The business also cannot compete with a similar business in Rio Grande County or in the adjacent economically distressed counties, which is Alamosa, Saguache, Conejos, Archuleta, and Mineral. The business must export a product or service outside the zone, and they must agree to hire at least 5 employees over their 4 years in the program at or above that county's average annual wage. So we're really requiring, the goal with these requirements of the business is that we're trying to bring in businesses into these communities that are going to be getting involved, they're going to be providing good paying jobs, and they're going to be somebody who wants to stay in the community for a long time while also bringing in some economic activity. The final rule of the program, which I always like to say isn't exactly a rule, it's almost more of a benefit, is that the program must be sponsored into, or the business must be sponsored into the program by a sponsoring entity, which is either the colleges in the area or an EDO. For your area, the San Luis Valley Resource Development Group is the sponsoring entity, and we've been working really closely with Sarah Sober. She's sort of taken on the responsibilities for this program, and she's amazing. And we love this part of the program because, like I said, it really enforces partnerships in your area and it encourages these businesses to stay in touch with their communities. So I know that that's a lot of rules and can be kind of daunting at times. So I wanted to give you some examples of some businesses that we have seen in the program so far. So you'll see these 4 businesses here. We do have some agricultural companies, which as you all saw, I'm a former 4-H and FFA girl, so I love seeing the ag companies, and I know that's really big in the San Luis Valley. But my favorite business that I really have loved to talk about recently is in Sedgwick County. Back in earlier this summer, we were working with Sedgwick County and Julesburg to get them to become a part of the program. And they were just a little hesitant because there are a lot of rules and it can be hard to imagine what types of businesses are going to pop up. But they ended up joining the program, and within 1 month of joining the program, we had a young gentleman kind of pop out of the woodworks a little bit and say, hey, I would really like to start a CDL training facility in Julesburg. Is this something that I could qualify for? There were no other CDL training facilities in the counties surrounding them, and we were able to admit this CDL training facility into the program, and he's going to be co-oping with the Julesburg airport, and he's renting a space in town to do some in-person classes, and it's just been a really great development in this program and in this county who didn't expect to see a business so soon. So with that, I do want to talk about why I'm here today. So you can see that I have not updated my current rural jumpstart zones to include Rio Grande because they were just approved last month. But Rio Grande County did pass the resolution, and I was able to go out and visit the county commissioner meeting in October and had so much fun visiting your community and getting lunch with Gigi and DJ and Dre and to talk about the program. But now we need to get the city to agree to become a part of this program. So when the city agrees to become a part of the program, they would be agreeing to waive any municipal business personal property tax only for the Rural Jumpstart approved businesses. This would be for either 4 years if the business is in the program, or they are allowed 1 extension period, so it would be up to 8 years. There's no fiscal impact on this, on your town until the business is admitted, and if I remember correctly, I thought that I might have seen that your municipality doesn't even have this tax, so it would really just be agreeing to pass a resolution saying that if this tax was ever proposed in your town, that the businesses would be abstained from it, and just agreeing to support the program. So with that, I will open the floor up for any questions on the program, the benefits, requirements, anything we need from you all, anything at all.
So this gives our economic development people just kind of another tool in their toolbox, excuse me, as far as recruiting anything that may come in our direction. It's a crapshoot, but like she said, Sedgwick County, way up in the northeast corner of the state, they were able to snag and create a new business, and that's what we're hoping to do as well. Dre's working on, kind of that economic development side. It's hard to go out and recruit when you don't know what you're recruiting, but hopefully by word of mouth by having this, they will enjoy our community and want to come to Monte Vista.
And Gigi, if I may, what we're seeing a lot in the more rural areas is entrepreneurship. We're really supporting entrepreneurship and giving an opportunity for citizens that maybe have always wanted to start something in their communities but just kind of needed that last little push. So yes, it's definitely a great recruitment tool, but it's also a great tool for local citizens to maybe access some capital if they're looking to start a business.
So all the tax and everything is null and void for the 4 years or the 8-year period, and then after that it all flows in. Is that correct?
So
I'm sorry, I had a really hard time hearing that question. Gigi, would you mind repeating it?
you want to talk into let's see, you got to talk into Nita's mic.
Sorry about that.
Is that, what's that?
It's gonna be the mic on the webcam, I do apologize.
You could just repeat that, Gigi, if you want. Just the concern of the tax, based on the 4 years, and I understand that. So it could be 4 years if they get the extension, 8 years, and then after the 4 or 8 years, then all the tax starts coming in.
Okay, did you? Yeah, and we don't, Monte Vista nor Rio Grande County collects a business personal property tax. And so, so from that aspect, we don't lose anything. We're not forfeiting anything in order to join the program.
Okay, so it'd be just the
The biggest misconception that we have among our different local governments is that this deals with property tax. And I think you all understand, but I just want to reiterate that this is not touching property tax. This is the business personal property tax. So more of the equipment, the movable items in the business.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, so if there aren't any questions, we would like you to consider passing the resolution, 2022 number 11, and Nita can read it if you want it read into the record.
Yes, please.
Resolution by City Council of the City of Monte Vista, the County of Rio Grande, and the State of Colorado authorizing participation in the Rural Jumpstart Program. Whereas the City Council of the City of Monte Vista recognizes that it would be beneficial to increase economic development in the city, and whereas the State of Colorado has enacted the Rural Jumpstart Zone Program, CRS 39-30.5-106, for the express purpose of encouraging economic development in rural areas of Colorado. And whereas business owners and new entrepreneurs may take advantage of the Colorado tax credit through December 31st, 2025. Whereas the City Council of the City of Monte Vista has determined that it is in the best interest of the city to participate in the Rural Jumpstart Program. Now therefore it be resolved that the City Council of the City of Monte Vista authorizes the municipality to participate in the Rural Jumpstart Program through June 30th, 2024.
So moved.
So seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2022-11. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Monte Vista, County of Rio Grande, and the State of Colorado authorizing participation in the Rural Jumpstart Program. Is there any more discussion? Unita?
Councillor Locke?
Aye.
Councillor Lorenz?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola?
Aye.
Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries to approve resolution 2022-11, authorizing participation in the Rural Jumpstart Program.
There you go, Morgan.
Well, thank you so much. And again, I apologize I'm not there in person, but I'm looking forward to getting back out to your area. Last time I got to experience my first potato harvest. So I expect some good experiences coming up in the future with you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night and happy holidays.
Same to you. Thanks.
Thank you.
I got all motion sickness watching that video. I'm just kidding.
You got a pretty good state hand.
You did good. You would like that or what?
We have the most highest technology.
Well, we know that one works.
We have the 2G network.
Yeah, the GG network. Alright, resolution 2022-12, a resolution adopting the annual mill levy certification for January 1st, 2023, and ending December 31st, 2023. Anita?
Hello, Mayor and council members. Here's, before you is a resolution to adopt the annual mill levy certification for the City of Monte Vista for the year beginning January 1, 2023, ending December 31, 2023. Whereas the City Council of the City of Monte Vista has adopted the 2023 annual budget in accordance with the local government budget law and the city charter on November 17th, 2022. And whereas the 2022 final certification evaluation for assessment for the City of Monte Vista certified by the Rio Grande County Assessor is $28,926,907. And whereas the annual mill levy must be certified to the county on or before December 15th, 2022. Now therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Monte Vista, Colorado, that there is hereby levied upon each dollar of assessed valuation of all taxable property within the corporate limits of the City of Monte Vista, Colorado in the year 2022 for use during the calendar year beginning January 1, 2023 and ending December 31, 2023, a tax of 14.740 mils for the following purposes. For general corporate purposes, 14.740 mils. And I would like you to approve this resolution. Please.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2022-12, adopting the annual mill levy for the fiscal year 2023.
Seconded.
Thank you.
It's been moved and approved, or excuse me, moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2022-12, resolution adopting an annual mill levy certification for the City of Monte Vista for the fiscal year of 2023. Is there any more discussion? Unita?
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segala,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve resolution 2022-12, adopting the annual mill levy for for 2023.
All right, October financials, Anita.
We'll stay up here, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
We have, I finished the month, in your packet was the memo, summarizing the financial report for October. We finished, the month of October, we've completed 83% of the fiscal year. The cash balance in the main checking account for the general fund is $2,964,185. The water fund has $382,000. The sewer fund has $458,000. All of the funds had revenue in excess of expenditures. The general fund was $454,000, the water fund $48,000, and the sewer fund $189,000. The total expenditures percent of the approved budgeted amounts, general fund is at 81.5%, water fund 75.7%, and the sewer fund at 34%. A comparative of the balance sheet from 2021 to 2022 shows accounts receivable is increased in the general fund, mainly due to utility billing, miscellaneous receivables, county sales tax, and highway users tax have increased. The water fund is a slight decrease. The sewer fund was increased, but that year-to-date is offset by the proximity malt loan that was in last year for a difference of about $4,000. The comparative for accounts payable shows general fund increase mainly due to employee benefits payable. The water was increased because of accrued long-term compensated absences, and sewer was decreased because of less accounts payable and the accrued long-term compensated absences. It was just kind of a trade-off in a difference in the way that things were recorded for that long-term between the two funds. The revenue and expenditures comparative year-to-date shows general fund revenue an overall increase of about 25%, which includes increases in tax revenue, licenses, intergovernmental for grants, charges for services. The water fund decrease is mainly due to last year we received a payment on the water and roadway master plan grant of about $74,000. And the sewer fund increased, because of base charges that we increased. Total expenditures comparing for the 2 fiscal years. Overall, they've increased in part due to increased IT expenses, fuel costs, Sky High Park, fire cleanup, and we had increased wage and benefits. General revenues, the monthly comparison shows it's typically, well, it averages out to about 410,000, and we've discussed in the past the increase in August was because of the Outcult donation that we received for the Sky High lease purchase payment. The expenditures follows the same explanation, except the average for expenditures is 364,000. The comparison for our budget is we're under budget by about 1.5% in the general fund. The debt service payments are coming up for the bond payment. These payments will be paid in November, the bond payment, and we have a payment for heavy equipment purchase due in December. So that could even us out a bit. We end the month of October with a current ratio of 3.29 to 1. We have 8.22 months of operating expenses in the unassigned fund balance, and that's it. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, on the water fund, when we did the budget, it looked like we were gonna be running in a deficit, but we're not.
Not, we didn't finish October. We've been running in a deficit over the past couple of months, but October we didn't.
So
Which
do we have
maybe
something-
Rob is listening to me and stopping spending money. I don't know.
Are we not buying something that we have budgeted, or is it, what's going on?
No, it's just trying to watch some expenses, so
Okay.
we probably didn't have any real purchases as far as during the summer months, we buy things such as fire hydrants and things like that, meters, meter pits. October is kind of the fall, so there's not a whole lot to buy. November, you'll probably see an uptick if we need to buy some more meter parts for the fires as we move into winter. It's just one of those months. We're still
But this was
probably-
cumulative through the season through October, so we're ahead through.
We're doing okay.
Mhm.
We're trying
We
to
did
watch
okay.
numbers.
We finished, what did I say?
1 point.
They had a excess of 48,000 compared to deficits the
That's a
months
good deal.
before.
Well done.
Any other questions?
You do a great job, thank you.
Thank you. I would ask that you approve my financial report.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the October financials.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the October financials. Is there any more discussion? Unita?
Counselor Locke,
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segala,
Aye.
Mayor Becker.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve October financials.
All right, staff proposals, reports, and actions. City clerk.
So good evening, Mayor and Council. Gigi had touched on this just a little bit, and I wanted to give you some more information on House Bill 21-1162. Under the bill that was passed by the state of Colorado legislature in 2021, the state will place a 10-cent fee on all single-use disposal bags supplied by realtors to customers, plastic and paper bags, starting January 1st, 2023, and all bill bans single-use plastic bags certain to-go food containers starting January 1st, 2024. There are exceptions which I will put in an outline and get get to you all. Some of the exceptions are smaller stores, restaurants, farmers and roadside markets, bags for dry cleaning, frozen meat, seafood, plants, bags for unwrapped food or bakery goods, bags for small pets like fish. Those are a few of the exceptions. We have a few of those exceptions here in Monte Vista. Unfortunately, the grocery stores, even Jack's does not fall into that because they are owned outside of the state of Colorado. So they would fall under having to charge that 10-cent bag fee. The way that the bag fee is, the way that the paper bag fee will go and the plastic bag, the monies will be disposable bag fee will be split 40-60 between the retailer and the town or the city of Monte Vista. This will require for the city to come up with a plan and a program to collect that fee. So I've been working with other communities across Colorado. A lot of us clerks have gotten together through the clerks listserv to come up with different ways and ideas to get this information out to the community members, to engage the stores that it will affect, make sure that they know the rules and regulations of this. And we're trying to come up with some different ways of where the community can help citizens with doing free bags, the cloth bags, the disposable bags that we're looking at trying to put together. So it's a statewide thing that all clerks are getting together to try to complete a program. We did sit and listen to the entire House bill, Gigi, myself, and Anita, so everybody knows that we're on board, that we have to come up with this fairly quickly.
Gene, is there any options that we can fight the state on this? Just give them the finger, because
If we can do what?
I make a motion that we declare our supermarkets in the city of Monte Vista as a roadside market, and therefore exempt. Second.
If that's a okay.
Does that carry weight, Gene?
I think so.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Can we do that?
Well, I was trying to, my ear's a little stuffy tonight.
Okay.
What was the motion again?
So I'm declaring all city markets in Monte Vista as roadside markets, and therefore exempt from the rules.
So declaring Safeway a roadside market. So we exempt them.
But is Safeway a Colorado-owned company?
I don't care, it's a roadside market.
Oh, that's right. So it doesn't matter. Okay. All right. Good.
I'd like to take a little closer look at that before I answer that, if you don't mind. But I'll get you to answer.
So, does that get tabled?
We're only 2 weeks away from the next vote, so.
So I'm giving you information right now. The House bill is actually being looked at because there are some things that have been discovered that are typos or that they are believed to be typos. So the 10-cent fee, we have to have something put in place. And then according to the way the bill is written now, we won't start collecting that until 2024. But a lot of the clerks have sent in information, requesting information, wanting to know if that was a typo because everything else is 2023.
Well, I'd take exception to the term single use. I got a bag of bags at home. You got a bag of bags at home? You might not know about it, but you got a bag of bags at home.
Yeah, I know.
I'm the one
I
who
mean,
picks
that's
up after
just-
the dogs, I guarantee I got a bag.
Hang on, guys. What was that? What was that?
The typo, so amongst the clerks, they've sent out information to the state wanting to know if it was a typo because the way it reads now, it was passed in 2021. Collection starts the bill goes into effect 2023, but the way the bill reads is that we don't start collecting the fee until 2024. The question is that there's possibly a typo in that bill that should be, collection should start in 2023 versus 2024.
Let's take it as it's written at this point.
That means that, just like for instance, Safeway wouldn't have to pay us until 2024, but they would be collecting the 10 cents throughout 2023.
Correct, but they are saying that that's possibly a typo.
So just a question on that House bill. Is that strictly for the plastic bags, or is there a bunch of other?
It's plastic and paper.
And styrofoam, certain types of styrofoam for restaurants.
And that's strictly it, there's no other, for a lack of better words, garbage written into that?
I will put this all together for you all and send you all out a packet with the information that I do have on it. And then, like I said, Anita, myself, and Gigi, we're trying to figure out how to collect it. It can't be collected through a state sales tax, or a county or city sales tax. It has to be collected through the city separately.
Would it affect things like, you made this pop in my head, feed bags, fertilizer bags?
No, those are some of the exemptions.
That's not the garbage I was talking about.
Well, I know, but no, when you yeah.
But no, that's a legitimate question.
I mean,
So,
can we just say no? We will not.
well,
Can we resist? Can we peacefully resist?
And
Jason had a good point, so we actually do have a motion and a second on the floor, but we need to pull it until Mr. Ferris can
I'd
research that.
suggest you can go ahead and pass it subject to legal review, but I'll get together and take a close look at this between Nita and Gigi and give you an opinion on it.
Okay.
So
I'm not pulling it back, I'm serious, I don't wanna, all this does is now our citizens, who we just raised sewer rates on, and the gas is over $3, and the food going in, it's outrageous, and now they gotta pay 10 cents a bag just to carry it home.
Well,
And
here's another question, legitimate. So you go in, and this is for everybody, and they bag your groceries in the first bag they tear when they dump something in there, and then they give you another one, and then it tears, so they give you another one. So are they charging you for all them, or is it just one? You see what I'm saying? Saying? Sorry.
Well, then on the city side, now you've gotta deal with this, we don't have the structure to deal with it, we've gotta make it up. It's just something else you have to do.
As it
And it's
was,
something else that our small businesses have to enforce. And guess what? The people that came up with this sweet little rule don't have to deal with it, but our store clerks do. They have to hear about it every day from people who aren't. So I want to know, what little person came up with this little thing? I want to go back to there.
I will be more than happy to tell you it was Governor Polis.
Well, was it him on his own?
Well, no, I mean, somebody sponsored the bill, and if we can look and find out who was the bill sponsor.
I think that we should have a discussion with them. Let's just go to the root. I'm not playing. Yeah, and the scary part is y'all know I'm not playing.
Well, and that's fine, Councilwoman Locke, but at this point, it's already passed. So unless another bill is introduced, it is the law, and we can look at, is there any exemptions to it?
I'm just looking for a loophole,
I know,
City
I
of
agree
Monte
with you.
Vista out of it, 'cause
It's,
Go to our state rep.
yeah, I mean, that's why I brought it up to Matt, or Representative-elect Martinez.
Well,
It is a burden.
if we can declare our groceries roadside markets, let's do it.
I would say that needs to be tabled until legal counsel.
We can get you
Right.
an answer pretty quick.
Okay.
Other than that, it's the end of the year, so my office is pretty busy with getting renewals out for a business license. Liquor license renewals are coming in, and then Of course, the holiday bazaar is just around the corner, which is Saturday the 3rd, so we've been having a lot of vendor permits.
Thank you, Unita. Public Works, Mr. Vance.
Actually, I didn't,
Oh.
you can't table motions on the floor. We gotta
Oh.
vote on it.
That's
Okay.
right.
All right, hang on, Rob.
I will amend it to say pending legal.
You will amend it to saying.
We're still voting on it, but if Gene comes back and tells us that I'm full of it, that's fine, but.
Okay.
Okay, so if you wanna, do you wanna amend it? To,
Yeah, pending legal review.
Amend it,
second,
pending legal review. So the motion we have on the floor for us to say that Safeway and Top Value is a farmer's market,
Roadside market.
roadside market.
well, I don't think you, wait a minute, the
Pin-
motion was not, I don't,
Actually, not
I don't
specific
think
to him.
it's
I would
not
say, let's say
specific.
all vendors in the city, since I'm amending anyway. I
Yeah.
make the motion that pending legal review, we designate all vendors in the city of Monte Vista as roadside markets, since they sit along the roadside, and therefore is exempt from this bag fee.
Seconded and amen.
You got that all wrote down?
Got it.
It's been moved and seconded, as Jason said. So read. Is there any more discussion? Unita?
Counselor Locke?
Aye.
Counselor Lorenz?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem
Aye.
Seola? Mayor Becker?
Aye.
Motion carries pending legal opinion that all businesses are qualified as roadside markets and exempt from the 10-cent bag fee.
And yes, I do tilt at windmills.
Okay, now Rob, carry on.
That's a rough act to follow.
That's, home rule has to have some play in that, correct?
Yeah,
Good job, Jason.
yeah, really good job, Jason, thank you.
So good evening, council. I'm gonna do something a little different tonight. This is my time to give you a report, and really, so far, what we've been doing since my last report is pretty much gearing up for the holiday festival coming up this weekend. Not a whole lot of things to kind of talk about, so I thought I would just kind of give you Public Works in review. They say pictures are worth 1,000 words, so maybe these will be worth at least 365 days. Sky High, the year started out, construction continued. It's a beautiful facility, and we did parts and Spindley, we started kind of watching that project in July, so kind of watched some of the construction take place. We do a lot of different things in Public Works. Everybody knows we do maintenance. This picture is just some general maintenance, cleaning up the weeds, picking up leaves after the spring there at Memorial Park. We do other things such as that. We go out, I go out on a monthly basis and inspect all of our playgrounds, and we find like that crack. So we take it apart, we fix it, and we put it back together so it's usable for the children. We also find water leaks. There's pictures of a water leak and then us fixing a water leak on the side of the highway. And then sometimes we go out and we have to fix other people's mistakes. That was over at the skate park. Car was going a little too fast and forgot to stop. So, we also, believe it or not, up until DJ's hiring, we did the planning and a lot of the project management. These duties included all kinds of different aspects of design, all the way to project inspections. This is actual Terre de Sol. When they were building that, we would go out and we would inspect, like this storm drain doesn't meet code. If you notice, the grate itself is actually wedged up. It wouldn't actually sit within the box. So I had to go in and modify it. So just different things that we do. Sadly, some of our duties are a lot more serious. Flooding over at Sky High. How about a flood on North Washington? Truck come around the corner and took out the fire hydrant. Caused a big old hole which actually collapsed the power pole. It collapsed into it, flooded the area full of sand and dirt. That hole was about 6 feet deep.
When was that?
That was July. So
Good job. I didn't even know about it.
that's unfortunately a lot of what we do, people don't know. And then sadly, sometimes it's completely heartbreaking, like the fires we had this year. We do other things, such as really nice, wonderful things that we get to do for the community too. You know, we got to participate with Old Monte this year. That was a first. We do a ton of different projects throughout the year, whether it's moving and painting offices, Arbor Day celebrations, or helping out at the golf course with their asbestos contracting, installing bike racks or signage for trail dedication. Our days are vastly filled with different activities. This is a picture from Arbor Day this year. So really good opportunity for my crew to interact with the grade school kids. They get to actually plant trees that help our environment. It's a really good thing for us. Our bike racks. So this is one of the very first bike racks that was installed. Our crews were doing the installation on that. John Patterson was the designer, and Optimistics, they've kind of headed that program really well. So there's several bike racks throughout town now. Then of course we were able to kind of help and put, the dedication for Sched Nature Trail. So those are all good things that we do for the community. And there's always times when the job is just not repetitive. You find weird things. This is actually a sinkhole that developed behind Head Start. They're off of Sherman. It's an old, I'm guessing at one time it was something of some sort of a pit, either an old potato cellar or more, but it's got a little, like 3 inches of concrete, and then it's a complete wooden frame underneath of it, about 6 feet deep.
Wow.
Right outside their playground. So we go in, we fix those type things. We had a really good year. Some of it with our equipment, we were innovative. This is an old plow truck where things didn't really work on it as well as the sander and the plow. We kept having problems with it, but the truck itself was really good. And our old water truck, the truck was terrible. It was 1972. It was rusted. The floors had holes in it. It threw the rear end, and you can't find another rear end for it. They just don't exist. So we took this truck, converted the water tank. Dave Cisneros, our mechanic and shop coordinator, he did the majority of the work, and we did it all in-house. So we did get some new equipment. That's that little Mini X. That was actually in that one water leak. That was the first job that it was on. So we've already used it. We use it quite frequently. It's been a really good purchase for it. And then we bought a new trailer to haul it on. This one, that little black box you see on the top of the trailer is actually a winch. It's a 12,000-pound winch. So we can, if a police car gets broken down, we can go up, pull it, and haul it away. So it gives us a lot of versatility. And then this is kind of our newest plow truck. I went up Monday and picked this up. This was a thing we were able, Gigi actually did this one. She negotiated a price to replace the one we took out of service with the city of Greenwood Village. This is one they were getting ready to send to auction. The original thing was without the plow, and then Gigi's efforts, they went ahead and put the plow on for us. It's a unique sander. You notice it's got sand in it, but it doesn't have what you typically can see as a sander. The bed is actually the sander. It's actually a live fed bed underneath, and it feeds directly in front of the rear wheels. So really neat, very neat. I am gonna have to have a bigger budget for sand, because this thing puts the sand down. So, show you a little video of us testing it. kind of where we've done this year. So, I mean, that's not everything, but that kind of gives you an idea. We do a very variety thing of tasks, so.
Can we watch that video again? Just kidding. One more time?
So now we have two Sanders
Take
in the
home.
city.
We had them both out working yesterday, day before.
We've had the plow truck out twice so far this year, the old one, and then I haven't had the green one out yet. I think it went out and sanded just to see how it did, but we'll see what tonight or tomorrow night brings, and we'll see where it goes. So it's ready to go.
Bring the snow.
Just no, not until after the 3rd.
Yeah.
Let's have a nice day for the 3rd.
Supposed to be really nice Saturday.
It's supposed to be.
All right, and the PD, who's gonna do that one?
So,
Cause Chief's gone?
yes, so
Okay,
you have it in your
posted.
packet. If you'd like me to read it, I can. If not, you can read it to yourselves later and.
We'll just,
You know, I think the biggest concern right now is that we are down a few officers, and we have not had much success in recruiting. And, the chief has received a grant in order to offer a $5,000 signing bonus. And the police officers can have $1,000 signing bonus if they recommend somebody and then we hire them. And so since all of that has happened, we do have 2 good-looking applicants, at least.
I knew someone.
Okay,
Just kidding.
bring it on. And so, you know, we're optimistic that maybe that may help change the game, but it's been tough. And then at the end of his report, just in case public is listening, our auto thefts have been up a little bit in the community. And this is a season where people keep their cars warming up while they go run into the post office or run back in the house. And so the chief says, I cannot reiterate enough, most thieves are opportunistic. They take the path of least resistance, hence why they steal, and it does not take a lot of effort to require them to actually go to work at it. So he stresses, please lock your vehicles. Do not leave valuables in sight within your vehicle, especially right now with the holiday season. Park your vehicle in well-lit areas. And then Colorado law requires keys be removed from a vehicle and the engine shut off, unless the vehicle is equipped with adequate security measures, such as keyless start fob, which is kept out of the proximity of the vehicle, using a steering wheel lock device, a remote starter system, or other anti-theft devices.
Keep your dog in the car.
Yeah, well, look at some of the carjackings with children in them.
It's crazy.
It's
Scary.
sad, yeah. So,
So, for that sign-on bonus, it was, like Gigi said, it's a grant, it's the JAG grant to pay the bonus. And it's, I mean, if they come, they get it. If they leave within the first year, they have to pay it back. And if they leave within the second year, they have to pay half of it back before completing their 2 years of service. So I like that. And something else that's on this report that I'd like to bring up, initial review of the use of force has shown to date a 56% reduction from last year. And the review of use of force was triggered by a comment Mayor Pro Tem Segala made at a meeting where he commended the PD for the way that they treat people. So made Chief wonder if that's where this attributes, but that's huge. 56% reduction from last year. So that's good. Yeah, that's very good. So, that's all I wanted to add to that. So we will go on to the IT. Woohoo!
The Lone Ranger tonight.
Hero.
The guy that sits back in the silence and
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm going to keep it short and sweet as usual. To start off with, we gave Mr. Becker a phone so that way he's easier to contact. Of course, that's not always a great thing, but you know, it's nice having the mayor having a phone that is easy to contact us for business. We had an issue with our domain controller with a timepiece ink. That has since been fixed. Everyone's time should be caught up. So we had a couple issues with that, with people being late to Zoom meetings and everything, so that was a priority of ours to fix. We had a camera issue out at Sky High which turned into an entire network outage. That has since been resolved. We have no idea what caused that outage. We're assuming a brownout, as we know the power on that side of the town is not that great. But that has since been resolved, and we're looking at ways to remedy that in the future, so that way that's no longer a problem. We aided in onboarding the new rec director, as we've had some issue with his email just due to us transferring everything from the previous rec director over to the new rec director. So that's been something that we've been actively working on as to make sure it goes as smoothly as possible. And then our phone system had an issue with outgoing calls. We could call internally to everyone around the offices, but we could not receive or have anything going outgoing. That has since been resolved. The issue was not with us, it was with our provider. But that is no longer the case. Are there any questions?
thank you for what you guys do.
Alrighty. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank
guys
you.
have a wonderful night.
Thank you. You as well. City manager.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start off with some not so great news. Received an email this week from Carolyn Gonzalez, who's been managing the Valley Theater, and she said they are out of money, and as of January the 8th, they will no longer be operating the theater. So I've asked her if she would give me some sort of an estimate on what their monthly expenses are, and if City Council would pick up those expenses for the few months until we can look at any RFPs, but even with an RFP and you all assign it to somebody and we come to an agreement, we're probably looking at sometime in June, probably for official closeout and transfer and everything. So we're looking at maybe 6 months worth of expenses. And even if the challenge is even if the city takes on the expenses of it to keep it operational, we've got to have somebody that can operate it. So if Carolyn says no, I guess I'm learning how to turn on a movie projector. I mean, I haven't been able to kind of fully work through this on what those ramifications are, you know.
I'm sure if she's not willing to do it, we have awesome staff here and some great citizens. I'm sure somebody will step up, at least if it's even 6 months, you know. So.
So if you come up with any ideas, let me know. We'll explore all venues. I did hear from the Mountain Film Festival people. They want to use the theater in April and have listed for 4 different days that they would like to bring the film festival back, and if we can accommodate that as well. So Bob Richards spoke with you all last week about the World War II memorial, or the World War II soldier that wrote a poem about his experience at Pearl Harbor. And he made mention that he would like to do some sort of a monument with that gentleman's poem on it. Well, since that happened, he is having people contact him saying that they want to donate, which is awesome. He just asked me to double make sure that you all don't have any problem if we put something like that in the Faith Hinckley Memorial Park.
I think that'd be okay.
I thought so too, so that's terrific. And I pointed him to the Monte Vista Community Fund to use them as the the collector of the funds, so people can send them to him, to that fund, and then they can just get the money back. So he's doing all the footwork on it. Furnishings. So the Forest Service is moving out of their facility out here on the highway. I asked them what they were going to be doing with some of their furnishings, and so Rob and his guys, one of the many things he didn't add onto his what they do, will be going out there to collect some of the things that we've gone out there and said we could use this, and this. So we're pretty excited to be getting some of that.
Where are they going?
They're going to Del Norte, and it's really kind of interesting. They were saying that they had made a deal with the school district, and they're moving in and refurbishing the school since they built a new school. It sounds like they're going to have more people in less space than what they have out here on the highway. And they're spending a lot of money to get it refurbished. So, would you all like to have a name badge? When you attend some of these events, would you like to be able to be identified as a city council member?
I have a couple already, I don't need any more.
Do you? Okay.
I have one I wrote, like, with crayon.
That's the ones I use all the time.
Has a little smiley face.
I think that'd be okay. If we go places, you can.
Yeah.
But
I kind of think you need them when you're in different venues. So, but if you're not going to wear it,
It would help. Just not repeating the same thing over and over and over again, and at the meetings. Not that we go to a whole lot of them, but when we do go, it would be helpful.
okay. I want to thank Rob and his guys. They've been working really hard to get Christmas lights up so that we're ready for the big turn on Saturday night. It's at 5:15 at Full and Wider Park. Then the parade starts at 6. We've had supply chain issues, so we don't have everything that we have ordered, which is a little it's a lot disappointing to me. But so they'll either be continuing a few things if we get them and getting them up in December. Some of the other stuff just may have to wait until Christmas of 2023. So.
boo.
The lights across Adams Street, are they gonna?
They've got those up.
That's happening.
Yes, that's
Yay.
happening. But our new street display over here across the street in place of the holiday sign, those lights haven't come in yet. Some of the lights that we got for out at Sky High Complex, they haven't shown up yet. And some lights we still have, and they're still hustling and trying to get them put up. So we'll have some more up here at City Hall. The Rural Electric worked really hard to help us out and get them up at the library. They don't work. Rob said he'll be back at the library tomorrow trying to figure out what happened. So it's just, we had a couple snow events. They've just hit one little obstacle after another that's taken away their time. So, but thank you, Rob, for all that you're doing. Don't look sad. I think he's as excited about it as I was. Employee appreciation is December the 14th. You're all invited to lunch that day. We will put in the paper and close the office from 11:30 to 1:30. It'll be somewhat similar to what was done last year, but we're having a catered meal brought in And then some of the departments have awards to give out, and so we'll be able to recognize those employees and just have a nice merry old time. So if you guys can come and make it for lunch, please let Nita know that. And that goes, Jean, of course you're invited as well, so. And I believe that concludes my report.
Are you going to that meeting December 14th, the Adams State College County meeting,
Mhm.
Sky High Park?
Mhm. So on the evening of the 14th, Adams State acting president or interim president is going to be doing a listening tour for Rio Grande County. And so it's open to the public if anybody wants to go in and express your thoughts and concerns about higher education, how Adams State can be more engaging with the community, how we can do more recruitment of our own kids. It's a great institution, and it'd be nice if some more of our kids took advantage of what's right here down the street. So URA has been, Urban Renewal Authority has been canceled for December. We'll get back going in January. 1 Cent Committee, we're working on an annual report that needs to be presented for the public. So Anita, thank you, is working on that one.
Almost have a draft ready.
So everybody's busy trying to get things wrapped up for the end of the year and start all over again. We're racing to the end and then we'll race to the start. Thank you.
Thank you, Gigi. Council committee, city commissioner, and council reports. Mr. Lorenz.
You didn't mention it, Rob, but is it the time of year to start dripping faucets again?
Once we do the read in December, yes.
Okay.
That will so that'll actually go into effect December 22nd.
Okay, so we still got a while. That's it?
That's it. I have a faucet that when it gets colder, it drips on its own, so I'm in trouble with it. Anyway.
I don't have anything.
Nothing? Martha?
I got a whole page. Dale hates calling on me. It's all good though.
You have 3 minutes.
I can do it in 3 minutes if you don't get me off track. Okay. First thing, 117 Adams. Mr. and Ms. Matthijs came last weekend, and they actually stayed with us in our house. And there's a lot of 117, or there was a lot of 117 Adams on the floor in our guest room because they came home like that. They got a lot of, they got at least, well, they used one dumpster, but it's at least a dumpster and a half worth that they themselves cleared out of the building. When they found out that we were having the Parade of Lights on December 3rd, they said, we won't be here, but we want to be a part of that. So they took part of their time here and went shopping and put a Christmas display in their window too. So I thought that was very town-spirited of them. They did that, and we're kind of watching over that for them. They have them on the timed battery, and they're hoping that the batteries hang on until the parade. But if not, we have keys. We'll go in and change the batteries out for them. Friday, tomorrow at 12 is the VIBE meeting that stands for Very Important Business Engagement. This is something that hasn't been done for several years. I don't know why it stopped, but the Optimistics are trying to start networking again. There is very little that's more important in almost any aspect of life than networking. I don't care what your problem is that you're having in your business, somebody else has had that problem. You might be the very one that has the wisdom to help someone else. Or you might be the very one that, that needs the help. The bottom line is you're going to go to lunch tomorrow. Why don't you come have some lunch with some other business people from the community? And let's get this networking. We've got people in the community now that we're not networking. And we have to do that. That is just so important. So please start trying to come to that if you can. At noon, bring a friend. I think tomorrow they're doing a taco bar. You can still order off the menu if you want to. It's at Rain Brews at noon. Let's see. Just come show support to each other. Saturday, big day, huge day. This is fantastic. We have the Christmas Bazaar coming up, and I don't remember what time that starts. You may know that, what time it starts.
I don't know, 9 o'clock?
Starts at 9.
I think they're also having horse and carriage rides, which is kind of exciting. Then at 3 o'clock is the holiday open house at the building that Adam and I and some other people just bought at the corner of Adams and 3rd. And that's going to start at 3. There's going to be free chair massages, free nail clippings for your furry little companions. All the businesses that are participating are giving out some sort of free coupon, free service, free something. So you can either use that for yourself or go put it in somebody's stocking, whatever you want to do. But please come and meet our new business owners. Our businesses are our backbone. We've got from agriculture to roadside markets. Our businesses are our backbone, so we've got to support them. Then we've got, and so that starts at 3. Tree lighting and caroling, I think Jennifer mentioned that, 5:15 parade, and then Santa's North Pole is still at Rain Brews that night. So basically, just get up Saturday, go downtown Monte Vista, look around till you find something because it won't take you long. And invite, if you know people in Alamosa, Del Norte, Center, Saguache, invite them. Come and have them be a part of our Monte Vista celebration. I don't even celebrate Christmas, and I'm excited about it. This is great. Thank you. Am I under my
Barely.
Okay.
All right, well, I don't have much. Again, see something, say something, pay attention, because they're still out there wandering around. And I can't believe it as cold as it is that they are, but they're still out there wandering around. Thank you, staff, Gigi and your team, Rob, Anita, everybody for what you do. Rob, your crew, kudos to them, because they've been out there diligently.
We're trying.
You guys are doing a great job, and I appreciate all the effort. So, with that, we will recess this meeting until December 15th, 2022 at 6 p.m. here in council chambers.